Well, it was complete and utter dominance from the New South Wales Swift. They brought their A game to the biggest game of the season, and they are the champions for 2019. Hello and welcome to the Weekly Pivot. It's all thanks to Blooms the Chemist, who are, of course, your first call pharmacy professionals. As a former New South Wales Swift yourself, Shani Layton, they were outstanding. How good were they?
Outstanding. They were absolutely amazing. And what I love most is that when I played with the New South Wales Swifts, we played in that same stadium. We played there from 15 and 16 and we lost by 1 goal both times. And so redemption for the Swifts. Well done, Swifties. I know I didn't back you in again. I didn't have
No, you did not. You tipped the Sunshine Coast Lightning.
But everyone did. So it didn't matter. But I was really happy to see the win. Couldn't believe the dominance, Jack. I think when it comes to grand final time, it's usually, kick for kick, pass for pass. But, it really was just dominance from the first quarter and they won the whole way through.
So here was the result from last Sunday at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. And as you can see, 64-47 the final result. And Shani, they really set the game up in the first quarter and a half. From basically from there, it was all taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely. They just caught Lightning absolutely off guard. Sam Wallace had a blinder from the first quarter the whole way through. And for Lightning to only score 47 goals, especially against the Swifts, was just crazy, I think. And their players, it's so hard to rock up on a grand final day. It's exhausting. You get all the hype, all the excitement around it. And I think it just probably affected a few of the players. Steph Wood didn't have her best game, one that a few people have said she would like to forget. So really feeling for her this week because she is a phenomenal player. But at the end of the day, it's the team who plays best on the day, and that was absolutely the Swifts.
So our team updates from the grand final, as always, thanks to Blooms the Chemist, your first call pharmacy professionals. I guess the story, in a way, is the New South Wales Swifts, and we'll get to them. But the Sunshine Coast Lightning, there was a lot of romantics about the build-up. Noeline Taurill's last game as coach and the handover. They couldn't get it done for Noeline, unfortunately, but now they have to look forward to what it looks like in the future under a new coach.
Absolutely, and so she has passed the baton over to Carly Byrne, and it's going to be interesting to see what it looks like because Noeline's Lightning legacy has been phenomenal to get a new team together, and I know from coming into the Magpies, getting a new team together is something that's really hard to do, but phenomenal. 2018 premiers and then 2019 runners-up. Probably not the game that she wanted to be sent out on, but she didn't change her style of coaching throughout that. She still backed the girls in, even when she knew they weren't going to win at the end. She got them together and said, just play with your heart, play with your soul. So I think it's going to be a very different looking team next year. I know that they have the similar playing group there, but I just don't know if they're going to be able to continue on that legacy that they've had.
So does anything need to change from a game style point of view, or was it just as simple as they just had a shocker on grand final day?
I really think it's as simple as that they just had a shocker. Steph Wood, it took her 20 minutes, so 5 minutes into the second quarter for her to shoot her first goal. Usually she would have shot at least 6 or 7 in the first quarter. So I'm not putting the whole weight on her, but it was really tough for them on the day. But Swifts just picked apart their game plan and did it really well. So I think they are going to have to come up with a different style of play, considering they do have the same players. There will be a lot of teams that watch that grand final that will use the strategy that the Swifts use coming into next year. So if they want to maintain that dominance, they're going to have to bring something a little bit different.
A little something.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at what's trending from the grand final. There's a lot to talk about as well, obviously. In the lead up to this game, we spoke about Katrina Ore and her record of what she's been able to achieve. And basically now, everywhere she goes, Shani, she wins.
Yeah, she's just got the Midas touch, doesn't she?
She's got bling everywhere now. Looks like Mr. T.
Yeah, she is absolutely Mr. T. But I bet you that she probably can't even believe that the year that she's had either. To go from winning her New Zealand League Premiership to come over to the World Cup and probably, would have been hoping to win for New Zealand, but to take that away and then to fill in as a replacement player. But I truly believe that the Swifts, it's a little bit of luck on both sides. They're really lucky that they were able to get her and her experience. And, winning is all about that winning feeling for me. When I've been in winning teams and you know how to win and you know that feeling of winning, you just think and believe you can do it. And she would have brought so much of that to the Swifts, but at the same time, the Swifts just had such a good culture. I think one of the girls asked her, how long did it take you to fit into the Swifts environment? She said, straight away. It was just, they have such a good culture there. They all get along so well. And I think that she would like to stay at the Swifts, except she's already signed for the Pulse for next year. But a huge congratulations to her. I think we would all like to have a year that Katrina Rore just had, because it's just what dreams are made of. Her pool room, I hope she's put a bit of that money away to buy a new house.
Or some extra shelves or something.
Yeah, any of the above.
That photo that we just saw of the Swifts, it's such an important photo in a way that they stuck together. They've had injuries. Maddie Proud, obviously, the biggest injury of the lot, and to lose your captain and still win a premiership is a massive achievement. But they stuck together, and the injured players were a part of it right the way through, even though they actually physically couldn't step out on the court.
Yeah, and that's what I loved the most on Sunday. You had a few of the girls there, Kate Eddy, Lauren Moore, the injured ones that were in the team that weren't there anymore, but they were all there on Sunday, and they were all in the change rooms. And some clubs are all about just having the team in, but it just brings so much love and culture, and the more people you have building towards something special, then that's what creates history. That's what makes things happen. And so I think the New South Wales Swifts have just done a phenomenal job of keeping them involved. But, that's the club, but it's also the girls as well, allowing them to still be a part of it. And also as an injured player, it's really hard not to play the victim and feel sorry for yourself and still want to be involved. And so you can tell what they had. They're all a similar age group, which is probably a little bit different to other teams. And a lot of them have moved interstate, and you can tell that that's really galvanised them, that they are a really close friendship group. And I can tell you what, I think that they'll be having a few reunions for many years to come.
If you've been following on social media, I don't think they've stopped yet. I think they've partied all the way through. And so they should. If we ever won something on this show, Shani, we'd party for weeks.
Can I tell you a secret?
Yeah.
Well, I missed my first Australian team because I partied too hard after the 2010 grand final.
That's my girl.
But I didn't think I was going to make it anyway. And then Norma Plummer didn't tell me until afterwards that I was actually in with the shot until I rocked up to the camp hungover. But anyway, we learn our lessons, girls. Don't party too hard if you've got Aussies coming up.
You are a legend in every sense of the word. I've never been more proud of you than what I am right now.
Thanks, Jack.
It's all thanks to Blooms the Chemist, your first call pharmacy professional. So let's jump ahead once more to the grand final and the matchup that mattered. We had a really good look at these last week, Shans. In particular, Sarah Clow, you spoke so much in the lead-up about the importance of her, and she delivered. I thought she was superb.
She was absolutely superb, and I was really feeling for Sarah Clow after the World Cup because it's so tough to be able to go in there as a new player, and when you lose a tournament, it can really affect and hit your confidence. But the way that she's bounced back has just been absolutely phenomenal, and I just want to compare the two between having that matchup of Sarah Clow and Fumza Mawini, who is an absolute superstar for South Africa and absolutely dominated Sam Wallace. But in this grand final, you could almost tell she almost wasn't used to that finals pressure and experience. And the difference in the stats there, 2 intercepts to 5. That's actually a 6 goal. Like, if you get 3 intercepts to the defender and you got every second centre pass, that's 6 goals.
It's a big swing, isn't it?
Yeah, that Sarah gave to her team there. And 9 deflections to Mawini's 4. And so, for me, the difference between the two on the day, Jack, was the art of the intercept.
The art of the intercept?
Yeah, so I'm going to just fill you in with all of my secrets today. So, the art of the intercept is don't move too early. If you're defending an attacker and you move too early, it opens up the space, and that's what Fumza Mawini was doing on the weekend. But if you stay on your player and you wait until that ball's released, that's when you run to cut it off and get that intercept, which is what Sarah Clow did so well. So if you're thinking to yourself, why can't I get the ball? You're probably leaving too early, just saying.
There's one for the kiddies. Just write that one down. I was taking some notes.
Write that down.
I've stored it all upstairs.
Yeah, Van Wilder.
Write that down. I love that movie. In focus for this week, we're going to focus in on the Sunshine Coast Lightning, and yes, it didn't go their way, but we came across this from Laura Langman after the game, Shans, that just was full of class. Let's have a listen.
Kia ora everyone. It really did bring a tear to our eye seeing so many people who love the game as much as we do. So thank you so much to everybody that came out today. It really means a lot. To the Swifts, Sammy, outrageous performance, mate. How you guys played today was simply beautiful to watch. I couldn't help myself but clap at times. I was like, oh, that was outstanding.
She is a star, an absolute star and full of class.
Full of class. She's 100% my goat. She's just that good on every level, and what I love most about her is that she doesn't take her sport too seriously, but that's what makes her the best, because it still means so much to her, and deep down she would have been devastated, but not devastated enough to congratulate the other team, tell them how well they played, give them a great pat on the back, and she also said in there, you know what, we had a bad day and it was just a bad day to have a bad day, but to thank the crowd, to thank the audiences, to thank everyone for coming, how well the Swifts played, how proud she was as her team, and Nolene, who's given so much to the club in the first 3 years. I think, like you said, Jake, she's just so full of class, and I think there's a lot of netballers that need to look up to her and actually, you know, take a note out of her book as well and just see how she goes about her business, because you can be the best and still have fun, still be respectful, and she literally just ticks every box in the game.
I guess now we have to wait and see what the future looks like, don't we? There's a bit of doubt around. You'd love to see her go around again, but there's no certainty at this stage.
There's no certainty, and I'm unsure whether she'll stay or not. And I think, like we were saying earlier, how much the team will change, I think will really depend on whether Laura Langman stays or not. So she's that solid part in the middle. Laura Sherian, phenomenal player as well. So if she doesn't come back, they're just going to need to get a player in that can really support her in there. But, you know, if she comes or goes or whatever it might be, she's definitely done her duty in the netball world in New Zealand and Australia. And gosh, I'm so glad that she was able to come and play over here. And for myself to play with her personally, she taught me a lot as well. So phenomenal.
We love her. We love her. She's one of our favourites here on this show. And
love you, Langy.
And she's the GOAT.
She's the GOAT.
I just wanted you to get to do that noise one more time. The final say for Blooms the Chemist, your first call pharmacy professional. Shani's nearly fallen off her seat there.
I did fall off my seat.
We're all over the shop today.
We are.
What's your final say?
My final say today is we just need to have the stadiums, so the clubs that have come in brand new, like the Sunshine Coast Lightning, they need to have their own stadiums that are a little bit bigger. So I think Sunshine needs to invest now that they've had such success up there, because they had 7,000 people at the grand final, which is good. But when we played there in 2015, 2016, it was a sellout of 13,000 because it's the home city. If it was a Firebirds grand final, absolutely the Brisbane Entertainment Centre would have been sold out. So I think you want to be able to have a really great crowd at the games, or have that one stadium that you play all the games at. But I think, you know, if it had been in Sydney, Melbourne or anywhere else, if it had been anywhere else, then yeah, absolutely there would have been more people there. So it's just something that we need to keep working on as a sport.
And as you can see there, it rated its socks off as well on Channel 9, which is fantastic. Over 900,000 people nationally at one point tuned in. So well done to everyone involved, and well done to Channel 9 who have a first-class broadcast. That's us just about done and dusted, but one of us, and it sure as hell ain't me because I'm no good at sport, one of us has got a grand final this weekend. Shans, you little star. Good luck.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited.
Are you nervous?
So much. Not at all. I think I've played in my fair share now and I've learned how to enjoy it. I will be on the day though. I will be very nervous. So, do you know another story for the day? Just to wrap
I love
this up.
story time with Shani, yes.
So I was so nervous about the prelim on the weekend, and I was like really hyped up, but too early. I know you don't get too hyped up before a grand final, and so I had to, on the way that I was driving there, I put on Taylor Swift's "You Need to Calm Down." You need to calm down. You're being too loud.
Anyone ever told you that before?
Only a few times.
As always, it's thanks to Blooms the Chemist, your first call pharmacy professionals. Shani, good luck.
Thanks, Jack.
We're back next week.